Welcome everyone to low-level Linux development live here on this channel from ARM 64-bit 2, RISC-V and Spark and PowerPC in between. We have boot, putting money where our mouth is. Previous poll there, genius idea, should we make T2 more popular by making it the first class best supported ARM 64, Asahi, M1 and future SOC Apple support stuff. Here we are someday later on this, so I can't live stream it in a useful way. I've seen other YouTubers. I actually want to increase the quality, so if I would live streaming this, it would be boring stuff. So just a photo here and then we continue. So that was just some minutes ago. T2, our Linux distribution here. Booting, not sure how many people tried M1 Max yet. Certainly M1, the Asahi people, M1 and M1 Pro. Also M1 Pro and M1 Max, not sure. Probably someone tried that already. It starts to boot. Here our T2 Linux distribution supporting 25 plus architectures, because obviously, so yes, a little bit blurry, but whatever, who cares? Also, this answers a question in a previous live stream unboxing that some week ago. I was wondering whether the display actually really is rounded there, or if this is a visual effect. And yeah, the bloody display is really rounded. Apparently, that sucks a little bit in my opinion. That's I mean, I can understand that of smaller bezels and stuff, but well, it's a homage to earliest Mac OS and system software stuff, right? Anyway, so yeah, you lose there some pixels on top of the notch. Previous photo here. So how does this boot here with M1 N1? So I booted this, of course, with M1 N1. All the boot details, previous video, right? We don't bore you today with these details. Also here, zooming in. Is it web zooming stuff off? Yeah, web. You got that. So this does not fully work. Maybe I should make a dedicated video summarizing that, because Asahi Linux people's last progress report is from September or so. In the meantime, I actually could give a progress report to that. Not that I want to take away from their work, but long story short, however, so maybe we make a progress report like tomorrow or something. But long story short, this is far off for regular users. Even for me, 20-year veteran, sure, I can get the stuff to work. Hey, I run a full Linux distribution supporting 25 architectures, but a lot of stuff is missing, right? Built-in keyboard and touchpad does not yet work. Sound only, proof of concept, Python stuff, I think in M1 N1, Toybox experiments. Of course, all the other, lots of other stuff. The mode setting, display controller stuff is not upstream, of course. They have there some code, but it's not upstream, some experimental stuff. So I need to collect even more patches, because the stuff that is in Linux kernel or Asahi Linux clone there proper is using simple DRM. And so a whole lot of stuff doesn't work. Webcam, Wi-Fi is a proof of concept patch for some machines, but also that is nowhere in any Linux next staging tree, wherever. For me, it could theoretically work. So if I use this as a simple DRM frame buffer and plug in Ethernet, because obviously USB, right? Then I could theoretically start working with that. But one showstopper is that USB doesn't work for me, so I can't. By the way, how many we have here? Actually, I lost overview. How many do we only have? 2 USB ports? Or oh no, there is a third one. Do we have 3 USB ports? No, anyway. So yeah, I need to somehow get USB working, and so there is not even a user-friendly bootloader yet, right? M1, N1, previous video, bootloader here and hypervisor and stuff. I understand it's very convenient for developers who have a Snowflake USB cable to with 1.2 volt TTL serial support for iOS, iPhone, iPad like early debugging. Then it is relatively convenient. Or you have another Mac, another M1 Mac, which maybe I should have actually brought two cheap Macs, like a Mac M1 Mini and M1 Air, instead of one medium Max or M1 Max, because now I have the issue I can't. Well, this is like the spec I would need for normal work, but now I don't. Cheapskating out on a second Mac. So maybe my girl needs to get a M1 Air also for Christmas, so that I have a debugging console or something. Because right now, so for me, this is, long story short, that means for normal people who do not have, well, you would need to get this cable or Arduino USB setup. Because without that, manipulating, working with this bootloader is super slow, booting in recovery mode, updating the payload, registering that with the Apple blessed boot protocol procedure stuff to boot. So that is like 10 minutes or so wasted of manually filling around there. So you want this, well, you want, not most people of course not such low level developer, but if you want to work with that right now, I would say such a cable or a second M1 Mac is a must, otherwise you waste time again and again and yeah. So for me that means if I continue to be a cheapskate and not get a second Mac sometime soon, the next step would theoretically be to fix USB. And I see here, not sure is that visible on this, because right now I don't have USB, and so there is no USB device something. So why is this partially not visible on this zoomed? So yeah, so let's get some work done. Also, I fixed already one, or I notified upstream. I looked into this stuff, of course, somehow wherever I look, I find bugs. Here, so all my work has already contributed to hopefully they have not pulled that or merged that, but you will probably agree, or it's already confirmed that it's a typo. So T6000 is this generation of SOC I have, and commits. And so one of those commits here is buggy, because of course it is. And that would be, yeah, also something of this stuff doesn't work. We need to look into that in a minute. And also, yeah, these are the machine IDs. So what I have is J314. So 14, this is probably inches, I guess. Otherwise it's random, but so far it correlates to that is 14 inch, that is 16 inch, I think. And so yeah, this commit is buggy. They somehow accidentally committed their SD card reader as Ethernet, so that obviously is incorrect. No surprise there. So yeah, random YouTuber already spots your bugs. Also, do you see that even? Hopefully you see that. Yeah, probably you should see that. So yeah, let's get some code done, because that's what we are here for. A little bit guru meditation. I think also, yes, the stuff is already in T2. If you want to play along at home, write T2 as usual, the get2 distribution, whether it's your P3 or your SG Octane or M1 Max, then yeah, we got you covered. I did not chat with them yet. What is their upstream blessed boot stuff? Right now, super inconvenient. You need M1 N1. So I think the main developers upstream at Asahi Linux, they all probably usually boot that connected with another Mac or Snowflake cable, and boot this with some Python driver of proxy controlling that. That is of course not end user compatible, because most people don't have the cable or another Mac and stuff. And if you have this payload right now, so there need to be huge rework or infrastructure, because M1 N1 needs the device tree. So right now we need to bundle either with ships with the Python proxy with a USB cable, or bundle it on the file system, the device tree. So the Linux kernel has all the device trees here, which we also, by the way, do we still have that around somewhere? Of not that. Let's clean that. That probably should be on the screen, right? You can never build too many kernels. And Yeah, so this is of course not end user shippable in terms of major distributions like ours, because obviously we can't ship pre-built payloads and installer stuff. Also, you probably, yeah, so we probably could integrate into the installers. Like if you start the installation on Mac OS, like your 2021, right? You start your Linux distribution on Mac OS, because obviously, which we probably anyway need to do in the long term, because there probably needs to be for some iMacs with 2 additional USB ports, probably needs to be as media, as Markan yesterday debugged live on YouTube, as media USB firmware extraction plus potential Wi-Fi, Broadcom Wi-Fi firmware extraction. And then we could add this device tree there. However, also super annoying stuff, right? That would mean if you swap your storage, like your external one, to another Mac, you would need to reinstall that or re-register. Alternatively, maybe, yeah, so right now there is 0 interaction on the bootloader on M1, like no keyboard interaction stuff. It's not like grub 2 or something. So I wonder what is the long-term strategy. Maybe I should actually join the Matrix chat there and brainstorm. One idea could be to do this the PS3 style, which would not be too uncommon for Macan. Also, Macan didn't invent it, that was Sony thing. Anyway, to do this petite boot, to always boot a small last year's Linux kernel with petite boot and do it the same as on the PS3 or some IBM server stuff or whatever, just some idea of. Because yeah, so huge stuff is, so not only device drivers built-in keyboard and touchpad obviously does not work, and sound and camera and USB for me and bootloader. So yeah, huge question marks. Cheers. Also yeah, I in the video 1 year ago, I repeating this, I gave it 10 years for be totally usable. Of course now the best of the industry chimed in there. But 1 year in, basic stuff is working. But yeah, basic stuff for enthusiast developers who can do early bootloader installation and filling stuff. So much to 10% of the time I gave it done for early enablement. So the device tree stuff is of course in architecture ARM. By the way, is it hopefully large enough for you to read, right? Also leave me in the comments below. I yesterday watched Mark Hahn's stream the first time. Very small font. So in all my YouTube live streams for a long time, I have a rather large font for you to be able to read that at home. I'm also a little bit disappointed that he didn't have a camera stream, although I understand that some hackers can prefer that not to show the whole apartment or stuff. But yeah, leave me in the comments below. Do you prefer my current setup of no bloody image of me and smaller font, or yeah, leave me in the comments below. ARM. Do we, by the way, have ARM64, I think. Most platforms in the meantime merged, like PowerPC, x86, RISC-V 2. Most platforms merged 64-bit support stuff. ARM somehow not, maybe too much legacy glue code, obviously, but was it boot DTS? So for us, that means we need to do 2 things. The first thing is, by the way, we can simply also, so yeah, which is this, by the way, 16? All right, this is 16, and also the commit is misleading maybe, because so that is 16, and oh wait a second, this are, or is it included? Which also this is for both. Okay, I see. So yeah, the first thing we need to fix is that, obviously, in case we ever want sometime soon to have an SD card reader. And welcome everyone. Transparency in the camera, yeah, amazing stuff, right? So, cheers. Happy that you like that. So boot, Apple, or was it Apple? Maybe it was DTS, DT, hello. Ah, we are there already. Apple, so what do we have here? So this T6000 and stuff, all the different socks. And so we have those, I mean, so I criticized this the other day. The problem with that is you need to know specifically all the code names here of Apple. which one was it here, by the way? So we have there T6000X. So editor, unfortunately, that fixed T6000X SD card. I would hope actually, and this is also what I don't really, okay, I have to admit I'm not the fastest with patches on Discord, especially if they're not the most important, but what I don't quite understand that this is 48 hours later, not yet in there, but somehow it isn't. If that would be my primary project, I would have immediately fixed that. So we have here some ports, we have WLAN and SD card reader. I hope that is it without typo PCI. So then we need to figure USB. And I wonder if my USB just doesn't work because this is slightly annoying. Maybe I should have, let's use it on my phone. The modern stuff of, I have a new follower, amazing stuff. Welcome there. So it says here, oh, I clipped this already on my post. Yeah, how that is. Yeah, also debugging stuff, right? Debugging stuff with photos on. So I should have actually cropped this. So this is FTD, disabling missing USB device, USB at 13.0.22.8. So how do they encode that here? Like maybe grab USB. Does anybody have the URL of the stream he's talking about? Which, so Macan, this was yesterday. I can theoretically, Macan YouTube. I just adding Monterey XH debugging 23 hours ago. That is this one. But yeah, leave in the comments below which setup do you like more. Except that I look freaking tired after 1.5 years sleepless nights with a toddler in this pandemic. Yeah, actually I need holiday, but all we do here is sit here and debug Apple ARM stuff. So maybe this is also why other people don't have a video feed in their camera feed. So this also, I slightly wonder, I need to debug, or I should read the sources, or simply ask Macan, if the initial iBootloader and stuff from Apple is passing a device tree, because I wonder a little bit why, although, yeah, why do we, it looks like it has already some device tree. So yeah, the M1 N1 can come up, but anyway, this is a little bit, yeah, why do we need a hard-coded device tree? Yeah, but maybe, well, who knows, maybe, we will see, time will show. So USB and all this DTS device tree source files. So we have here some, here we have some USB-C connector. Let's see what's going on there. Also, yeah, I hate this. It's our sandbox. So USB, what's going on here? USB I2C. So that is just some, looks like, because this is I2C, that looks to be just some power delivery and stuff. Okay, here we have so this should be the real USB controllers. Actually, you know what? Maybe. How many would that be? Maybe the. Wait a second. We can. So this is not. I wanted that. Oh, why did this resize? I hate when this resizes. IO-rec. Let's see USB. Let's not repeat Macan's mistake of debugging this stuff yesterday and at the end figuring out it's in As Media. But I think I checked that we don't have here in As Media. So yeah, you might unfortunately see here some internal stuff. So we have here some Thunderbolt USB down adapter. So this is macOS. This is a device tree microkernelish internal device representation of macOS. Thunderbolt adapter. So let's just double check. USB adapter. Let's XHCI. So we have so this Apple T6000 SOC USB XHCI. IO class, yada yada yada, something, probe match, blah blah blah, USB host, control stick. Where would be the USB IO named match USB DRD T6000? Yeah, so we have that. Do they have some Apple? Yeah, so this is Apple. Also, yeah, Apple did not invent this themselves, right? They licensed this Synopsys. Previously DesignWorks or so. This is why on the Linux side, this is here compatible somewhere. It should be, yeah, so DVC 3.0 This is DesignWorks, also a controller, and otherwise known as Synopsys. And so we have that, and what else do we have? We have here the next DRD something, whatever, T6000. Current limit, whatever, P handle, blah blah blah, port type, device type, USB, DRD, high speed, USB, also 2, oh wait a second, Apple USB 20XHCI. Or is it, this is probably connected. So here's the next one. Oh, here's T8 Apple T. So here's the next one, and that is Apple T 8103 XDCI. So that USB XDCI ARM. What is the difference here precisely? But this is also USB controller aux. Yeah, let's maybe, at least here is no S-Media thing in here like on the higher end iMac that Makan debugged yesterday. I slightly wonder, ATC is used DisplayPort. So what the problem is, maybe I should have asked there, but somehow I don't have this matrix stuff usually. Let's grab this again. So we have also Power Manager. We also have this here, T8100 Power Manager. Yes, that comes from running stuff in our sandbox. So USB, and yeah, modern complexity, right? Recurring theme on this channel. Power controller, so that power, why do we have power control? Because the modern complexities of USB-C, right? Power delivery, especially here the highest power delivery, 90 plus watts or something. So a lot of, and other auxiliary USB stuff. I'm not sure if probably they don't support audio, but yeah, DisplayPort and Thunderbolt. So this is why you have all the other alternative alt mode and power delivery switching stuff. That is what all this stuff, and this is also the complexity, right? So all of this stuff needs to have drivers, needs to be reverse engineered, needs to be documented and so on. So we have power controller. How many do we have here? Because some things there might be missing. Video encoder, DMA. So a lot of stuff is here. I'm mostly wondering, so which device trees, yeah, so best with, we have here T6000. So basically, so we have, so the way how this works is we have here source, device tree, source include files, and device tree sources. The include files, of course, so Apple has here different generations of SOC, like think M1, M1 Pro, M1 Max, and This is why they have here different space source files that they include for the T6000, T8103. And so what did I say? We have here this one. And which one is that, by the way? Yeah, I should have. I need to configure my VI that this works. So Apple J, which one is that? Okay, this is an Apple Mac Mini M1 2021. Why is this T8000? So I wonder what's there. Or do they have an? Actually, I would need to guess now. Maybe they have Ethernet in there. Not sure if that is add-on or whatever. Which Ethernet is it even? Ethernet was compatible. Did I not say Ethernet there? Ethernet, here port 2. Ethernet something to be filled by the loader of whatever. Okay, so that would be that. The question is only what is with my USB stuff. USB. And so I just, and welcome, hey D-Tart, long time no see. Yes, I dropped you an email. I was actually worried. Are you okay, man? I hope you're okay. And I would love to see you more often again. We were really missing you. And so the thing is, I gourmeted it a little bit more. I want to get a little bit overview here because I don't have the luxury of the Snowflake USB cable. So I don't want to waste too many times 10-15 minutes multiplied by X rebooting unnecessarily. So this is why I want to get a little bit of an overview, because I would hope without the bloody cable to have Linux booting. Well, it's booting, right? But I would love to have Linux not only booting, but also being able to use USB. So, and welcome everyone who tuned in here. This is why I spent a little bit more time. So we have here left rear, left front. Left rear, left front, so they should be there. Where do they have even, so TPS, which is that USB Type-C? Okay, these are the E2C. Oh, bad times. That sounds awful. I hope you could solve some business partner thing there. Men, yeah. How have we been? You missed a lot here. We are fine, thankfully. Just super busy and missing sleep from 1.5 years with some junior at home. But he is healthy and happy, so that is all that counts. So right, okay, all the USB ports are here. CD, so that are all of those. Left rear, left front, and right. And so how does it work with the, so we have this, but these are not the USB ports as it. Also, yeah, I find this a little bit crazy that M1N1, the bootloader knows there is something, and then disabling missing USB device, USB at. So how does it work here with HDM compatible? Where would be the assignment of Type-C USB? Probably Type-C 0, 1. Okay, this probably should be those here. Remote, they're only in there. Interesting. Where is it? Ah, here. So okay, here are all of those. So they are here, however. So they don't here have any kind of address assignments. So that must be coming somewhere automatically, or maybe instantiating those from. Yeah, Dtard was just thinking about Linux on the M1. Yeah, I have to say, so I was skeptical, right? So to give you a 1 minute summary, the performance and efficiency is of course good, but not unheard of, right? It's a little or somewhat better than Ryzen 5000, but given the work, I would actually say I wonder that those prominent people in the community jumped like Mark Hahn jumped onto this. Also, probably he wanted he wanted to do like cooler level Linux stuff and without having some freelance work to pay that. Because I would say it's not really worth it for normal people to get this actually because nothing really works, right? And I would actually, with my more open thinking here, I would normally not have got this if I would not need an M1 Apple Silicon stuff for our Mac product development and support. So I would normally not even really recommend people to get that. And yeah, if I said this before, if Lenovo would have shipped an X13 AMD Ryzen 5000 this year, but it was the last time I checked, still not for sale in Europe, I might not have gotten this even due to all the nature of all this stuff. So I said this again, if it would not be for my Linux distribution YouTube channel and commercial Mac work, I would not have gotten this at all. Maybe the smallest entry level thing to play with, but otherwise, because for those people, and this is a recurring theme, right? For those people who do all the low level work here, it is not really profitable, right? We all, well, I the least, the most of course Mark Hahn and so on, but they have Patreon for that. They burn so much time, you never get this back, right? Unless you like do all this low level work, like unless you do low level ARM work, you have a supercomputer company or Wi-Fi company and you do ARM stuff. If you are a small freelancer and doing this kind of work, all the energy efficiency and computing power stuff you never make up for what the open source people and community put in here, which is as amazing that you share, like, and subscribe and watch this stuff. So I mean, the ports look to be here. Maybe we, you know what, we have here some Tmaxes at our hand. So also we deleted that. So and if you want to support our stuff, we also have a Patreon and GitHub sponsorship and even OnlyFans and whatever you fancy. T2 clean. And let's also extract, download mirror M1. Do we find any clue for that is disabling missing USB device? Missing USB, what is going on here? Source kboot, disabling. Okay, disabling, missing. So here is what do we have here? Print, what is that here for each subnode? Disable USB drives. Disable device is not present in ADTs. Linux doesn't step on top of the hypervisor. What? Disable USB is ADT Apple's device tree, maybe? Disable USB device. The USB device is not present in ADT, so Linux doesn't step on top of the hyper. Maybe it is. No, wait. Also, not loving this old-fashioned stuff of completely void functions, but whatever. So I guess it looks to me that M1 gets. Yes, we have an OnlyFans. We need to have. We made a poll and people voted for OnlyFans, so we have an OnlyFans. You can support us through all means possible. OnlyFans want to become more professional, so here we are. This is a little bit disabling missing USB device. So it's, yeah, how we love C code, isn't it? SOC. So it starts at SOC 50, FTD Fast offset sock for each subnode. FDT get name USB add. So if it has USB add, then continue. How does this work? Sock. I don't know. I think here that sounds maybe I would expect it's like Apple device tree or something. Here's some ADT load ADT property struct. I think it must be something device tree. Proxy utils, trace, hypervisor, removing ADT node. Here's chain load Python. Here's ADT, and there's source ADT. I don't like this color scheme. Burning my eyes away here, this dark blue. Well, I would guess that might be what is coming from iBoot, maybe. I only wonder why we can't directly use that and need to somehow have our own. I think it didn't. Detard asks, everything runs on a hypervisor on M1? No, it does not. The M1, so M1 N1 is the Asahi Linux bootloader that Hector Martin and friends have written. And so the way this, I made a video some days ago, a live stream, how the M1 Max boot, so with iBoot, and then Apple has one true, one recovery OS, which is a small version of macOS. And so after initial iBoot, currently we have M1 N1 loaded, that is M1 N1, we are looking at M1 N1, that is an bootloader and playground, and that includes a built-in hypervisor, and that is actually so okay, M1 N1, so simply pronounced mini, how I love the mod. I like M1 N1 though. If, in my opinion, this naming, because if you Google Mini, you only find car stuff, right? And I find this I don't find this naming helpful. I might simply continue to call it M1 N1 because, I mean, also in Star Wars, right? It's C3PO and it's R. Come on, what is it? R2 T2? Oh, whatever. Yeah. So it's so. And yeah, if you Google that, you only get car pictures. So M1 N1, right? It also helps us Googling. Do we find anything other FTD something? I mean, it's only disabling one USB device, so maybe it's unrelated. Let's, yeah, R2. Did I say R2D2? I think I said this. Hopefully, some. Anyway, so. And pro tip, it would API sign match libftd's read-only API. What I do, pro tip, what I do in my file, I really wish that they would on those files have like a one header. I usually have here like this, like usually I have in the more professional projects of mine, like this file here is this file, yada yada, implementing this and that, and so yeah. What did I edit before? Okay, but we also have here source. What do we have here? So okay, we have here, so they have native USB support for all this stuff, and okay, we have here ARM IO. So yeah, but I wanted to say, so that has a built-in hypervisor, so you can, even as crazy as it is, so I said Apple Silicon support is still quite lacking in terms of drivers, camera, Wi-Fi for normal end-user usability, but it is super crazy that they spend the time and efforts to implement a hypervisor in this M1 bootloader playground. So you can boot Linux in this hypervisor, in the open source M1 or M1 Mini hypervisor, and even macOS. It's a little bit tricky. You need to extract the kernel cache and so on, similar to Hackintosh stuff and so on, or QEMU. But yeah, so you can, for debugging, how is it useful, you can, like Markan does live on his channel, trace all the, like what you would do with QEMU on Linux or other Windows and embedded reverse engineering, trace all those I/O, what I also did here with USB and Wi-Fi and stuff, and our 500 plus scanner drivers. So I usually trace USB stuff for our scanner drivers, as Markan is tracing, for example, with his hypervisors. This also explains why they have done that, so that they can trace macOS driver I/O, like yesterday for the S Media USB controller. But it's super crazy, right? We lack built-in keyboard driver, but we have a freaking hypervisor to run macOS, which, yeah. So what is here? So that is only native built. So actually, you know what? It could. What do we have? Maybe the issue is simply maybe it would work. Maybe there is some other, but no, it would. I mean, even if it lists one USB, like what did it say? So the M1 Mini is disabling missing USB device, USB something 1302. I only wonder why those addresses, like from, I would say usually come DTS. How many do we have here? And also, yeah. So we have that one is Apple's M1 Pro. So that is, which one is that? That is J. Okay, so the S ones are M1 Pro, the T6000. So they are T6000, X, M1 Pro. So that is 16-inch. I think the other was, so you have 14-inch, 16-inch. What do we have here? This is a chip cut down version of the T6001. So included and disable missing ports. Delete node, power manager 1000. This chip is just a cut down version of T6. Which is that? That is a T6000. Okay, so they have T6000, T6001. Not sure that. Okay, they have here other, so M1 Pro SoC. Okay, so that is just to make ourselves familiar with those. So T6000 is M1 Pro. So that is, so the C variants are the Max variants, which we have. And power domain for the Apple T6000 M1 Max SoC. So power domains is also more software managed SoC devices, GPIO, so all the clocked stuff, even the LP DDR5 and stuff, Apple Fabric, power controller, okay, fun stuff. Then we have T6001, so that is, which was the other? So that was, oh, they have, okay, M1 Max, what is the power manager, T6000, M1 Max, other names, H. So I wonder if they got this from some leaked schematics, this H 13J Jade, T6001. So that would be MacBook Pro 14, 16, 2021. Devices with both, so they should be the same, allegedly, maybe. And what else do we have here? Parts common. Do we have here frame buffer, USB stuff, MagSafe port. I wonder if the thing is, maybe it would already work. So whatever the missing USB thing is there, could be anything. Here, detailed says, really hope future. This is also what I said, right? In general, I also, what I said in the how those Apple Silicon Macs are booting, I totally don't like. In general, I would not even really support this kind of proprietary non-standard conformance stuff. I really also, yeah, it could boot with EFI. Yes, EFI is not amazing, but better than all this custom stuff. And it's not even faster here because of all the iBoot stuff. And yeah, totally agree. In general, yeah, I'm torn between energy efficiency and computing power and nice display, except the bloody notch and missing pixels at the rounded corners. But yeah, this is. I even said in the how this is booting video that, in my opinion, right to own the devices fully, this should come with data books and specifications if educated users and professionals want them to work on that. I should make notes or make a dedicated video about this. So let's, is it even which, did I use that Apple? Oh no, I didn't. I should actually not mix all those T-Maxes here. Let's see what I configured here. Yeah, I got a phone call, and that is why I don't want to live stream my phone calls, right? So, boot. Let's see if, yes, I need to freaking configure this bloody. I think I had this already, whichever stupid option this was. So, USB design works, was a design where SPI design. So the maybe the thing is just that we need the matching. Yeah, I also checked already. I wonder that in good old-fashioned times they had dev configs there for machines in config architecture. Config somehow they don't have this either. I checked this already yesterday. So device class drivers. So is here some design works? Tegra stuff XHCI. What would that actually? That probably should have some compatible ARM. What did we say? We said boot DTS, but maybe they. I don't remember. Design where device tree. What was it? Design where something was DWC. So design where controller 3. Here are some IO MMU. Wait a second. Maybe this is where they were. Yeah, family. I should earn money and then they keep calling me when I freaking finally can work. Let's double check the address here. So here we have something that was at USB 9.13.0. Ah, here we have something 13.0228. 13.0228. T601. But maybe I need more relaxed guru meditation over. That was start, so that was 13.022. Here we have some, so that is also here also we have this compatible synopsis. So yeah, that is what we need to check our drivers with. So 0 we have here missing 13.02. So yeah, that should be this one. I mean, the other should still work, so that should probably be. How does it work here with those darts? So that is also IO MMU, actually quite some stuff going on here. PCI stuff on those ports, and so we have Dart. Probably, okay, so we have here, so we have this design where synopsis USB there, and the Dart, is it the Dart for that design? Dart 0, Dart 1, design where, yada yada. So yeah, so that would be this port, not sure why. Mini, M1 Mini says it's disabling missing USB device. Maybe the M1 Max has it slightly different. Maybe nobody tested it yet, and only on the M1 Pro maybe it has another address. Which one was it? So it was this one. So 3, but I tried both ports on the left, both didn't work. So that would be J314. I need to fix it soon, just. What? Okay, fine, whatever. Let's better see. So that was compatible. Oh, speaking of not standard, right? Even the bloody NVMe implementation from Apple is has some quirks and stuff. So even Apple can't implement a standard conforming NVMe controller, which is super hilarious. In general, so the crazy thing is, if I would be totally free to choose, I would totally not buy that. Also for all the non-standard, not only non-standard conform booting, but all the community needs to finance themselves 100,000 euros worth of salaries of Macan and stuff, and friends and community of reversing all the stuff, but then also all the non-standard conformance stuff, right? Buying devices that have NVMe implementations that are totally non-standard and broken and quirky and whatnot. It's like, what is so difficult in implementing a standard conforming NVMe implementation? Everyone else gets this. Ah, darn, I also somehow copy and pasted the wrong thing. Shit. Maybe I should focus on coding and not. But yeah, this is my something. I wanted to copy this here, so either, okay, we can actually, let's hope this time I copied spells that correctly. Let's see if, I mean, it's not saying X, yeah, so it's, okay, we have to quite some others also matching that. Let's grab that in drivers. Probably should be some matching driver. Okay, we have a USB design where 3 stuff. The question is, have we even enabled that? I need to freaking fix this. This is so annoying. Okay, design verse 3. I wonder. Yeah, I really wonder that they don't have a proper dev config. So I need to spend also all my time to figure out what even is required in the config for that to work. Okay, so yeah, maybe so it's built in, so far so good. Which of those do we need? Should we? So yeah, probably I don't have USB because of that. Here's also more platform. Okay, this is USB 2 maybe. ULP, maybe we check if, I mean, I wonder, can we build them all in? Or by the way, maybe I should check the comments here. So that is register ULPI physical interface if you have an attached to your. So how should I know whether we have an ULPI type physical attached to your thing? I have no idea. Can we, so host only mode, so when you use the host only mode, there was a gadget feature will be regressed. Maybe what kind of haptics is it? Yeah, I mean, the kernel people are nitpicky about everything, and then, I mean, feature will not be available. I mean, how can they call that regress button there? Dual role is a default mode and default mode of working of where both host features are enabled. I wonder, can we build them all in, or? OMAP, PCI, do we have some Apple thing here, or? So, actually I wanted to. Yeah, so Asahi Linux dev config. I think maybe do they have? Oh bloody! This pissed me off already. The other live stream. Do they have a dev config here? Because I'm not really feeling like. I think okay, they have here dev config. Generate the default ARM config, and this is also outdated. You want you don't want this. You want DRM, simple DRM. Otherwise, you can't start X. Okay, so yeah, so I read this. The crazy thing is, here is by booting with USB, design, and Dart, etc. Yeah, no kidding. Why do they not? I mean, 20 years ago we had proper dev config, and now we need to. It's like, yeah, how is that documentation of with design ver 3 and Dart? And yes, thank you very much. So Dart is in, of course. Do we have all the other? I think I checked last night that we have all the other Apple stuff in. Although maybe we should build in that, not to avoid not having that around. And here is, do we need DesignWorks? Do we need that? Oh no, it's PCA Apple, so probably not. Yeah, in case you were wondering what is making up T2, it's all this years of curating all this config stuff. So all the Apple stuff I added here at the end for now. Not the greatest fan of having... also, yeah, by the way, this drivers, some of them don't build as modules. So you want to build them in because otherwise they don't link and mod post. And then, did we had USB design? Yeah, I think we had that, but I mean, theoretically, if that is dual role, it sounds like it should work. But who knows if that maybe... I mean, given that it does do debugging, here we have some Apple. Let's see what that does. Oh, it gets tiring quickly. This is not what? Role switch reset quirk, true. So clocks optional, but new device tree platforms should support all clocks required by the... I mean, I wonder if you can build all those in. I mean, the K config does not have dependencies, or does it? Depends, no, so this depends on USB, DesignWorks, gadget, and Xcon. So it looks like you could enable all of them and maybe have some ports as host and gadget and some dual role, maybe. So that is a Boolean. Let's do a little bit more source guru meditation. So they have here, okay, they have here host or dual role. So that probably should work. Let's, just when I wanted to press N, I need to configure my editor not to do that. So param host gadget, so config is enabled. Config does not support host mode. So it looks like this is just some very lightweight state machine config. Core C, what did I core and yeah, so it looks like a dual, so it has host or dual role. So it probably, what do we have here? Host or dual role. So yeah, probably we can. Did I? Let's set both configs just to be sure. That probably should work. Again, normally I wouldn't read that so long. I just don't like, yeah, 10 minutes reading is faster than 3 times rebooting. I still don't quite get why So yeah, building that. Darn, wait a second. CD that again, and let's save. I had to fix file. Here, let's actually save that. Architecture, ARM64, package, Linux, Apple, what would that be? T600X SDHCI patch, I would say. I'm not sure if that is yet supported. Anyway, M1 Mini. Do they have docs? So this was a device tree. Was it ADT? I think it was ADT, right? This should be, I mean, how, yeah. Okay, Apple firmware boot, when Apple firmware boots the kernel, pass the device tree in binary format. Okay, so, as I said initially, or as I suspected, this iBoot stuff already passes a device tree. So yeah, very similar but different from open firmware standard expected by Linux. Yes, thank you very much, Apple. Like Linux device trees, Apple device tree encodes a number of untyped byte arrays, properties in a hierarchy of nodes. These describe the hardware or provide other information that Apple thinks that firmware might need to tell the kernel about. This includes identifying and secret information like serial numbers and Wi-Fi keys. The main difference between ADT and Linux DTs is byte order. Since properties are untyped, we can't automatically convert that. Cool. Oh, wait a second. Oh, no. Okay. So yeah, this mini debug console thing only works if you have either the Snowflake USB cable or another M1 Mac. Yeah, so I would need to save that macOS IM4P files, missing details. So yeah, there we have the answer to my previous questions why we don't just use that. They are too incompatible and lack details and information. So we're building that. So filter by during this, which are those, by the way? So image for tools, volume, system, project, copy, C devices, machine. Okay, for that you apparently would need interesting. So does it mean that we, on the pre-boot volume, there are firmwares directly? I guess we don't have that. No, we don't have that mounted by default. So you probably, maybe would you need to be in recovery mode from that? Oh, okay, you can, device tree. Here we have something. So yes, that is, however, what we were looking at earlier. So that is not different from what I looked at earlier. So the only thing is, wait a second, does it mean that should have, here we have USB stuff at, I'm probably still building that. Let's just reply to the family, because nothing like over information in this day and age. So the question is still 13022. But that is not there though. So that is apparently not having those addresses here. Which I port current limit port type stuff. Yep. By the way, we could, check the build ARM64. Not that we wait here 5 minutes. And so the benefit of another M1 Mac or proper cable, and right now I'm live streaming anyway from this M1 Mac. So even if I would have all the stuff, I couldn't live stream the reboot. But that is of course where this nice hypervisor and mini proxy comes in. Python controlled mini proxy, because then I wouldn't need to waste 10 minutes of recovery booting and planting the new payload. So that would be 15 RC Z and that. What? Why does it not? Dual role. What does it? Does it mean? Did I not have the host? Is this? It doesn't matter too much as long as we have dual roles. It should support both. Do we have a? Oh, it looks. Maybe the dual role disabled now. Whatever. We will see. Yeah, welcome everyone. Good to see you all. From macOS decoding, proxy client, otherwise memory map A option of the. Okay, fine. Yeah, so then I need to. Yeah, so previously that probably wasn't. What was it previously? I would need to rewind my own video. Anyway, so then. Do we have already? We should also check actually. The thing with all of this floating around patches is even pro tip. It's crazy that I need to tell this outstanding long-term developers, but publish the stuff instantly in your Git tree, because even for me it's so time wasting and tiresome to Google and read matrix log files and stuff just to find all the patches. Pro tip: if you have some patches, immediately bring them upstream, not upstream, into your downstream Git. Did this build? No, I lost overview here. Probably did I build this here? Here I built this. So yeah, I should have checked actually whether do we have the sources? No, we don't. With the NVMe, because next I would need to install a root file system. For that, yeah, as I said, the non-standard ARM64 would. Let's at least check the 15 RC. So that would be NVMe Apple. NVMe support. Is that not upstream? I mean, I could install that on an external USB device, not that it would be that much fun, but it certainly would. I mean, yeah. Darn, we also need. I just wonder What kernel command line does? Oh darn, we probably even need... Okay, I could, if keyboard works, because we don't have a kernel command line in M1 and M1 Mini. So much to, yeah, as I outlined previously, so much stuff. I wonder a little bit, don't really want to criticize them so much for all their work and contributions, but I really would appreciate more, and I think it would help more users and even low-level developers like myself, like look at all how much time I need to spend in all those details and infrastructure and element. If, I mean, it's amazing that they have a hypervisor in their Mini, M1 Mini, but this is not for normal people, right? For normal people playing along at home, they neither have the USB cable, they neither have a second Mac. I really wonder that they didn't spend any efforts in making the normal boot procedure a little bit smoother, because right now it's not smooth. So this is proxy client. Yeah, so I mean, as seen, I mean, I can work around that. I certainly don't need like fully automated boot, but I mean, if my USB keyboard works, oh wait a second, USB. That means I can of course type this manually in like mounting some, yeah, because we have, by the way, what is cannot open etc target? Where is it coming from? I don't really remember that being, where is it, by the way, coming from? I've never seen that before, I think. What do we need? We need Asahi Linux 15. Darn. Which one does it matter? Probably not much. One of those, one or the other. Maybe I should also not live stream all this stuff. Linux, so etc target, root preferred, what drivers target core internal, what the heck, self-test stuff, simply etc target, what the heck is that, drivers target core internal, what is that? Target core config files, what? Core internal, what is it even? Target backend, what? Drivers target, what is that even? Generic target core mod config as infrastructure. TCM storage engine and config as enable. Build in TCM RAM disk. Subsystem logic for virtual on 0. Strange stuff. What is it for? I have no idea. Didn't use it. So that was config target, right? Target core. Is that new? Whatever. So then, yeah, it is time to test it again. And unfortunately, that means for me, without this special snowflake stuff, decompress that, so that should need to be careful. Alright, we only have one of that. So, because right now it doesn't want set standard, and then cutting all this stuff together. Fun stuff, right? The future is now to that payload. And yeah, now I need to reboot and test that. Actually, we could check. Did I don't tell me I deleted it already. Oh, did I already? Probably. No, I deleted that. Let's see if they have this NVE. So, as I said, it will take a long time for that to be fully with all webcam and stuff anyway longer, but this could be the previous Intel Mac, so I would not necessarily say this probably is not the M1 stuff. So I guess that is also not yet in any downstream kit. M1. Yeah, so there is something. What? U-boot tree? Why is this in U-boot tree? What? Why is this U-boot? Or do they work on U-boot on Apple? Apparently. Looks like that. Putting OpenDST from internal disk. Yeah. We still need so yeah, November 10th, but the question is where are those patches? And that is what I mean with hunting those for on and on. Work in progress kernel tree here based on, so I run that though, I think I run, so yeah, that bring up, this is what we packaged. NVM, yeah, here is at Apple, here is ANS, at ANS, so here we have something, maybe we should make sure. Here's block NVMe Apple. Good that we double checked. Maybe I extracted the wrong. We had here 2, so much 2. The other is slightly older, I think. F62 maybe. So much to looking at the wrong sources maybe. Here's something. Fun stuff. So yeah, that was that config. Let's probably we don't have that yet. I don't think it accidentally randomly enabled. 15 RC next whatever. Pattern not found. Can build the kernel again. Let's maybe double check that this is the kernel we have packaged. F6, yes, F6. Then the question is, as that did not enable depends on RT-Zart. Also selects, okay, depends on Arch Apple and selects those. This is tree state. I wonder, did they test module or should we build it into the kernel? Maybe we should build it. Because oftentimes the stuff doesn't. I mean, they say modules there. Maybe we try module and hope that it auto loads already. Oh, this explains the thing. Apple M, because our NVMe stuff is probably not. Slightly wonder, it's probably not built in. Somehow, why is this not here at all? It is a little bit strange. I would expect it should at least show up as not set, but Arch Apple, Dev, Apple Talk, thank you very much. HID Apple, display, yes, whatever, Dart. I mean, although maybe, you know what, should we not have? Oh, wait a sec. Maybe we should build this into the kernel just so that stuff works more automatically for now. Did I not have this built into? Let's not risk. So let's try that again. Generated, do we have the time there? Apple Dart M. Oh, wait a second. Oh, this is ARM. Why is this still? Should this not in the meantime have a regenerated config? Something. Why is this still modular? Can't that be built in? This still doesn't have this block device, so. No backlight Apple, thank you very much. Block dev. Did I not grab for that? It says module. Why did I not find this with grabbing those? That is. It was a module. Why did I? maybe I looked into the wrong 15. Oh, maybe I looked into the wrong config file. Let's uninstall all the kernel madness there. It's too much random non-working stuff. I wonder if we should have this mailbox stuff also built in. Yeah, so I probably looked at the wrong kconfig of too many kconfigs. So yeah, module there. Slightly wonder, should we have that built in or? NVMe display controller. You know what? Just to avoid in some weeks or months, we can test if it works as modular, as we prefer most modular kernel. Not to have all the stuff built in for other ARM devices, but for today, build it in. Just I don't want to rebuild too often, reboot too often. Yeah, rebuild also not. Let's try that again. So yeah, this finally should be most stuff. And then, I mean, actually for me, if that eventually finally boots and is somewhat stable, I could even try to live stream from that sometime soon. We have 3. The only things here, we need USB keyboard. So I need, with this USB hub, what do I need? I need HDMI capture. I have a keyboard, HDMI, is it enough? Actually, it could be nearly enough. That would be fun, yeah. Certainly no hardware accelerated video encode, but right now I also live stream with software encode here in OBS, even Rosetta to OBS here on macOS. So would be interesting to see if probably should that work, right? Anyway, yeah, I hope you learned something. Even 1 year later, after reversing all the stuff there from those giants, standing on the shoulder of those giants, still a massive amount of work just to collect all the stuff and even configuring, right? Some of those Apple-specific kernel support and modules don't even build as modules and have undefined symbols or other mod post issues. Of not GPL exported modules, or like not exported functions, symbols. Yeah, and then yeah, so much to be done. People always think, yeah, accelerated graphic is only one thing, which probably takes, as I speculated, a year probably to be somewhat usable. I guess maybe, but then it's also all the other small stuff: Wi-Fi, camera, sound. Yeah, not in that order. Obviously, sound more important than camera. Plus booting, the boot stuff. I actually should chat with them what they plan. Petit boot maybe. Although yeah, crazy. Yeah, due to the nature Right now, you of course need macOS to once ever restore that. This is not a thing on EFI Intel Macs, right? EFI Intel Macs, you could have always just booted the old-fashioned way. Now, with this modern stuff, after iBoot, you right now always need your one recovery OS. And yeah, that is also crazy, right? You can't even ever install Linux right now without booting into recovery, disabling system security stuff, whatever the precise terms were there, and then using one recovery OS, aka macOS, to register your boot payload. So that is somewhat crazy, that you can't plug in an external, like press a button in the early bootloader and have on your BIOS firmware any other external binary program loaded. That is certainly a departure of most previous personal and general purpose computers for decades. So that, yeah, I said this before, I'm not as much hyped as others over this certainly high performance and efficient silicon, but otherwise it's even when you can still boot other homebrew operating systems, but the consequences are so limiting, and in so many ways it's not how computers and appliances should develop for the future. That I would summarize, it's basically a very arrogant way of Apple to handle this early boot stuff. Of course, there will be a lot of fanboys who will say, yeah, but whatever, you can still boot something. But yeah, you can boot something with such jumping over such obstacles and potentially never without having a recovery OS install on there to boot into recovery macOS to change your boot policy and register your other boot binary. Sure, you could argue it's just a very big firmware, aka like, yeah, but basically the macOS variant that is recovery OS becoming the firmware interface. I mean, people who previously didn't like EFI because it's such a huge cluster F of garbage code there of Intel and PC BIOS vendors obviously not making it better. And if you didn't like EFI for the huge methods, then like, yeah, welcome to 2021. You have a whole freaking macOS recovery thing as your system firmware interface thing. It's like, yeah, crazy things. Anyway, I hope that works more. Basically, I need working USB to start interacting with Linux. Like, yeah, Linux is only so much of use if you don't have human interface devices. So yeah, that build, then we can pack the stuff together, copy this payload. Again, as I don't have the proper debugging tools, boot into recovery OS, register the new payload. Also, oops, that was. Like, yeah, I hope you learned something. Also, probably I should delete that here because I posted garbage. Build, is that the right? Do we have that here? Okay, we have that here. So build boot. Let's see if set standard. Okay, that is still the T2 Next. That probably should be fine. And then set standard. What else did we need? Cut the payload stuff together. So that is that stuff. And yeah, so if we would want more useful boot chooser stuff, we could certainly make this some petite boot payload there. Would be, unless this M1 N1 Mini should be developed into a full-blown, not only hypervisor, but also boot loader. Anyway, that's it for this video. Long enough as usual, probably over 1 hour or stuff, because it's just how long it takes to collect all this stuff and test it. I hate this chair. Anyway, I need a new chair. Here. Hope you learned something, and don't forget to share and subscribe. Patreon, GitHub, or OnlyFans sponsorship and stuff. And I hope to see you soon for the next fun and hopefully booting stuff to come soon.